We begin in Trinidad. It has been reported that under Gary Griffith's tenure as police commissioner so far, an estimated 485 people have been murdered, and there are still more than 2 weeks left until Griffith celebrates his first anniversary as police commissioner. With the current rate of bloodletting taking place in the country, it is not improbable that 500 murders can be recorded under Griffith's first year in office, the Trinidad Guardian reported. Last year ended with 517 murders, according to statistics from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Services. It was the country's second highest murder toll ever. The Pan American Health Organization PAHO is urging Caribbean countries to implement laws to ensure that working women are given the time and support needed to breastfeed. PAHO, in a message marking International Breastfeeding Week, said protection laws for women should include adequate paid maternity leave and sufficient breastfeeding breaks upon return to work. PAHO said in order to ensure that working mothers are adequately protected, it is calling for regional countries to implement the International Labour Organization's recommendations. This states that women should be given at least 14 weeks paid maternity leave and that governments should endeavour to extend this leave to at least 18 weeks. It also stipulates that working mothers should be provided with 2 30-minute nursing breaks each day upon her return to work, as well as facilities for breastfeeding at or near the workplace. Internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump has imposed new sanctions against Russia over the poisoning of a former Russian spy and his daughter in the United Kingdom in March of 2018. U.S. banks are now banned from providing loans to Russia, and Washington will also be opposing any loan extension to Moscow by international institutions. Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia were poisoned with a Russian nerve agent, though they have now recovered. Russia denies any role in the attack. Russia's foreign ministry said it regretted the latest U.S. move. The sanctions were imposed under America's Chemical and Biological Weapons Control and Warfare Elimination Act, adopted in 1991. The act mandates the imposition of new sanctions within 90 days if Russia fails to give reliable assurance that it will no longer use chemical weapons. A Ugandan academic who once called President Yoweri Museveni a pair of buttocks has been sentenced to 18 months in prison. According to the BBC, activists condemned the jailing of Stella Nyanzi for cyber harassment, saying it undermined Uganda's commitment to freedom of expression. She attended Friday's sentencing by a video link against her will and exposed her breasts in protest. She was acquitted on a second charge of offensive communication. But when this was announced on Thursday, she gave a passionate speech in which she said she was disappointed with the verdict, prompting cheers from her supporters. Uganda has a poor record on freedom of expression, according to Reporters Without Borders, which says President Museveni tolerates no criticism. Earlier this year, Ugandan authorities detained BBC journalists who were investigating the illegal sale of government drugs. Finally, women in Saudi Arabia can now travel abroad without a male guardian's permission, the BBC has reported. The new rule announced on Friday allows women over the age of 21 to apply for a passport without authorization, putting them on an equal footing to men. Women are also being given the right to register births, marriage, or divorce. The kingdom has recently eased all long-standing social restrictions on women, though campaigners say more remains to be done for women's rights. According to the BBC, Saudi Arabia has increasingly come under the spotlight over its treatment of its female citizens, an issue highlighted by several high-profile cases of Saudi women seeking asylum abroad. The de facto leader, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, has sought to relax prohibitions on women, including lifting a driving ban last year, in a bid to open up the